Happy Friday, everybody! Today I will be going through our FIDE World Chess Championship again, right? At the moment, 9 games had been played and the score line is 4.5 to 4.5. Neither player won, and so everything is tied. So we're going to still have 5 more games, and hopefully we're going to have a lot more exciting games coming up, right? And I think, over the past week, 5 days, the most exciting game was game number 7, right? And game number 7 also happened to be the least accurate, with overall accuracy of 94. Okay, that's extremely high, but still, it's relatively low compared to the other games, right? Okay, I mean, enough being said, I just want to show you the scoreline. So everything was tied, right? So yeah, okay, 0.5, 0.5, all the way until game 9. Yeah. So for those of you, right, who are new to my channel, right, yeah, so basically this is the information, right? This is to determine the next classical world chess champion, right? So the word here, classical, refers to the time control, right? So it's slow chess, right? 2 hours for the first 40 moves, and then you have time increment for the next 20, right? Okay, so enough being said, I just want to show everybody, right, some of the critical positions, right? Critical positions from game 9 until game 7, right? I'm doing this thing in a reverse chronological order, right? So game 9 was what happened yesterday on the 5th, right? Today is the 6th, so yesterday was the 5th, and today is the rest day, right? So yeah, so they can chill, right? So in this position, let's say this is okay, this is White's 16th move, right? So White made bishop a5, right? White made bishop a5. And this is, of course, Black's turn to respond, right? So, okay, let's say, okay, I think Ding played the right move here, right? Taking it on c4, knight takes. And now this is a critical position, right? It's the 17th move for Black. What would you play? I'm going to count to 3. 3, 2, 1. All right? So, everybody, if you thought about playing knight takes c4, bingo, right? You are correct. Right? In the blitz situation, I think a lot of us would play knight takes c4, right? Because knight takes c4, straight away you won the bishop, and then you're attacking White's queen. Of course, I mean, immediately White should either move the queen. No, I think moving the queen will not save him. Like moving the queen to c3, what happens? Right, I mean, you can just take the bishop, right? Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, you're forcing White to take your queen. You take White's queen, okay? And now look at what's happening, right? So this is a very critical position, right? So White has to think, should I move my rook on d1 up 1 square, or should I simply take Black's rook, right? Let's say, okay? It goes for the more forceful move, right? Taking the rook on d8. I will simply take it back, right? I have to take it back, right? Black has to take it back. Otherwise, bishop takes e7, right? And then now you move your rook up here and then knight a4. And look at what's happening, right? I mean, Black has 2 minor pieces for a rook. And this is not a very good position, actually. Not a very good position, right? You can take it here. This will just lead to more exchanges. And Black is much better. Yeah, this is... You're not going to have an easy time in the endgame, okay? In this situation. Right? And similarly, right, enough talk. Similarly, if you go for the weak continuation, the passive continuation, this is just very bad, okay? This is very bad, yeah. Go for the passive one. Right, I simply move my rook here, right? I think rook d7 is also good, but rook c8, rook c8 is good, because you're actually forcing White to kind of, I mean, not to make anything that's too stupid, right? You're keeping your rooks connected, right? And then of course you are saving your knight on b2. Yeah, this is a huge advantage for Black. Yeah. Alright, so enough said. Alright, yeah. So what happened in the game, right? Most of you might have watched this, was like, I think Ding actually messed up his move order. Maybe he saw it. Maybe he saw knight takes c4, but yeah. So, but he played this trick move, right? He played this trick move, okay? Bishop takes f3, okay? And then this forced White to respond with bishop takes b6, okay? So I think he was just hoping, to see whether White went wrong. White can go wrong, okay? Whether White can go wrong with bishop takes f3. Okay, let's see what happens with bishop if bishop takes f3. All right. So this is what's going to happen. Very similar to what I showed everybody. Okay, very similar. Again, we are going to have something like 2 minor pieces for the knight, right? Taking with the knight is fine as well, right? Highly similar to what we had before, all right? This is still a plus for black, all right? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to show everybody again, all right, what's going to happen right here. Yeah, so you got to know this, right? You got to know this, right? Bishop takes f, c5 is no good, right? So knight takes c5, right? You keep the options open, right? Because you're controlling e4. Yeah, simple as that, right? Controlling e4. All right, let's go to the other game. This is, I think this is game number 8, right? This is, yeah. So I think everybody saw the earlier position, right? So in this situation, right, black's queen on b6 is under attack. As black, what should you make in order to gain an upper hand? 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so if you thought about moving the d7 knight to c5, you are right. You are a true grandmaster. But if you are like most people, moving the queen away, all right, you don't really get any point for this. This is passive. And even like what Gukesh did, this is given a question mark. This is considered as an inaccuracy. Wow. This is pretty amazing, very amazing. This is extremely non-intuitive, right? Why does moving the other knight to c5, the d7 knight to c5, why does that give black an advantage, right? So here's we have 3 reasons, all right? By moving the d7 knight here, right, instead of the a6 knight, you are preventing the knight from getting attacked by a move such as bishop h3, right? And then you are also keeping the option open for this the queen d8 or queen d6 maneuver, right? Because like this, right, you are attacking the d4 bishop straight away. You're keeping the d file open. And then there's also the possibility of rook d8. Yeah. All right. So let's see what can happen. All right. Let's see what can happen. Let's say in this situation, all right, of course, I'm going to move my rook here, attacking the bishop on c5, right? Double attack on bishop on c5. So bishop on c5 cannot move. So in this situation, I'm just going to play the stockfish move, the strongest move, right? Centralizing the bishop to d5. And now in this, instead of knight to h4, I don't really want to exchange. Right? Okay, let's say I move my queen to d2. Okay, let's just say, all right? There's this a4 maneuver, all right? And let's say I do something like this. Yeah, so it's this rook b1 after rook b1. There's this b4, right? This shows the power of keeping the knight on a6, right? You have 2 passers. Instead of being on the 5th rank, they're now on the 4th rank. Wow. And now this is really in black's favor, right? If you play very weakly, right, in this situation, let's say, okay, I think e4 is very intuitive, right? Very intuitive. Yeah. So bishop e6 is also very intuitive. That just stops any shenanigans with bishop this h3. And if you do a weak move, right? Let's say, okay, like this, instead of, I think e5 is just not intuitive. Okay, let's say I do king g1. Let's say, right? Black can just keep on rolling, pushing his pawns forward, all right? I think h3 is not intuitive, okay? I think queen f2 is a human approach. And then, yeah, look at what's happening. Look at what's happening here, people. b4, b3, okay? And now if you do something passive, like say bishop e3, black just simply keeps on pushing his pawns. Oh, this is pretty much dead, right? And if I move my, this rook to c1, this is game over, right? Everybody, look at this. This is game over, right? b3, b2. One of the pawns is going to queen. Possibly both pawns are going to queen. You are dead. This is game over, right? So this really shows you the power of keeping the knight on a6, right? So for the three reasons I mentioned, right, everybody can just roll back. I'm not going to mention them again, right? Right. So I think the main reason is simply you just keep your options open, right? You can either push your pawn to b4, or there's also the possibility of doing the knight hop to b4. Yeah, there's always the possibility, right? Yeah. If white plays very very weakly, right? So like what Ding pointed out, right? If this c5 was played, yeah, I mean even before that his position was pretty much hopeless, right? I think after a series of very very weak moves, right? After the check, yeah, that was just very very weak, very very weak. So like what I think what no, this move, yeah, I think he started to go wrong after c takes b5. D2, queen d2 was the better approach because you are protecting the a2 pawn from afar, right? Yeah, from the distance. And of course, I mean, black is not going to do b5 takes c4, right? That just ruins his pawn structure. So he would do a check, right? This is very, very intuitive, right? And then definitely, I mean, b4 is the best approach, right? He cannot do b takes c4, right? Otherwise, rook takes b6. Yeah. Yeah, so queen d2 would have just maintained the balance, right? So in this kind of situation, you got to think, do I, maintain the balance? Do I keep my pawn structure intact, or do I do something drastic, right? If I do something drastic like changing the pawn structure, okay, what can possibly go wrong, and how can my opponent gain an advantage? So these are the questions you got to think, right? Now let me just go to the think, all right, game number 7, right? Yeah, now I just want to show everybody a very critical position here. Yeah, knight c6 was a great move, right? Making use of the ping here. And knight c6, knight going back to e7. e7 was forced, but it's a great move as well, right? Yeah. And now moving the king to f6, great move, all right? Great move. Okay. Yeah, b5 was a great move, right? That really clamps down, right? Clamps down on c6 and a6. That was a computer's top choice as well, right? Okay, now this rook back to d4. So now, because there's a double attack on d5, so I mean rook d4 was pretty much the only move available, right? So gukesh was white and Ding was black. Now this is Ding's 40th move, right? 4-0. So he actually lashed ahead with, okay, not before that, right? So yeah, so this is his 40th move, right? King e5, right? King e5 was seen as an inaccuracy by the engine, right? Not the best move. So the best move is, before I review the answer, okay, give everybody 3 seconds. Pause the video. 3, 2, 1. The best move is knight c8. Okay, why knight c8? Because from c8 you can hop the knight to b6 or to d6. All right, to b6, that will just give you a double attack on d5, potentially a triple attack, right, after you mate king e5. And then it also gives you the option of attacking b5 pawn, right? So with knight d6, and then you follow it up with this rook b7, right? So you have a double attack on this b5 pawn, and then you lash ahead with this king e5, right? And then that just attacks d5, and then potentially your king can actually maybe like go to like c5 via d4 if white is not careful, right? Yeah, that can easily happen, right? That can easily happen. So let's look at a possible continuation, right? So this is good move, right? And now rook h4 attacking h6. Yeah. So some of you may be asking, right? Why not this king g6? King g6 is fine, but I think it may not really be so geometrically beautiful, because here you want to keep your king on the dark squares, on the long diagonal. So it's more geometrically appealing in that case. You can actually move back, and then it also keeps the option of moving your king to e7, right? Yeah, if black goes passive, right? Yeah, so this is an option, right? I mean, of course, I mean that this is really, really stupid actually, right? So let's say instead of going for that, okay, let's say white goes rook b4, all right? So in this situation, is rook b7. Yeah. And then let's say I don't like it. Right? I don't like the other rook move. Yeah. This is just a slight advantage for white. Okay, notice that, and then you can just back and forth again. This can just simply be a repetition. Yeah. And of course, I mean, white will not really want to, we're not really want to go for the repetition so easily, because after all, he's upper pawn, right? So what happens if I as white, I move up my king? Yeah. Well, and this is a great surprise. This is, yeah, Stockfish actually says, a5. Yeah, a5. Well, I mean, immediately, it gives you the advantage. Yeah. So you cannot take, right? Otherwise, I take you. So you got to move back with, either you move back or you, yeah, like in this case, black simply gains back the pawn. There's really nothing to play for. No win to play for afterwards, right? Let's just head back. So moving the white king up is a mistake. Yeah. Stockfish's rook b2 will not do anything special, right? I simply take back the pawn. Yeah. So the other thing is that, okay, instead of, okay, let's say I move my king here. Again, there's this a5. Again, there's this a5 immediately. Why king d2? Because if I don't do a5, okay, this king d2. Let's say I play something passive, okay, like this. White can simply do bishop e2. Yeah. So that's why, you got to do a5 immediately. This is extremely, extremely strong. Extremely strong. Yeah. And then there's a potential for if you go back with the rook, right? If you go passive. Yeah, this is really a dead loss, right? So you got to stop the knight from hopping to e4. Yeah. All right. So in other words, I mean, if you look at it, right, the knight here, all right, the knight here is really like an octopus, right? An octopus defending black, holding all the pawns together, right? The pawns on f5, on f7, and then it's also simultaneously attacking b5. Yeah. So as a defender, all right, you got to know how to defend with using your knight, right? Usually, putting your knight onto d6 is in a close position is always a good idea. And this is also something that I use when I play the Grunfeld defense. Yeah. All right. So enough being said, I hope everybody enjoyed my review of these 3 games, right? Game 7 to 9 in our current FIDE World Chess Championship. And I hope everybody will look back all the critical position. I mean, see them as a series of chess puzzles and work through them, right? Yeah, also, especially in like game number 9,